everybody by today's episode of The Hub Critic, the Friday show. I think it's week 5 or episode 5 of the Friday show. I haven't necessarily been doing it week by week, as you know. This show has been going on for 3 weeks or so, or 3 months or so. Probably a long time since somewhere midsummer. But now we're back into the school year. Things are getting a little cluttered, a little busy. I mean, for me, basically in transition year, kind of work is kind of cut down a little bit. But still, obviously time is short. Money is time, time's money, however it goes. But today in this episode, we're going to just cover a few little topics. Obviously, there's not much going on in the news, just, a local level, sport level, and just, generally just interesting news that's going on in the world today. Our first story of the day is to do with this movie Crossface by Chris Benoit. By Chris Benoit? No, based off of Chris Benoit. So if you know the life of Chris Benoit, you know the tragic passing the tragic murder-suicide that happened. Well, it wasn't tragic really, it was just horrific tragic murder-suicide caused by Chris Benoit murdering himself and his family due to a brain disease that happened at the time. And we know that because of what happened to him, a lot of changes had to be made to be in the years past. No headshots by chairs, no mental disorders like this, so that this would not occur as often. And obviously, as people's they get longer, like their brain degenerates. This can happen. I don't know how to go into a speech about that, but no, the movie seems to be definitely much like a sort of documentary type movie thing. I'm guessing, sort of like a remake with like obviously actors playing Chris Benoit. We don't know who's going to play him, but we know from the news story here, I was going to read out, many professional wrestler fans remember Chris Benoit for his relentless work ethic. Benoit was truly one of the best wrestlers to ever lace up a pair of boots. But the release date will be starring in a movie, but it seems like the biopic will virtually cover Benoit's entire life leading up to the tragic murder-suicide back in 2007. Even they say tragic there. So it's obviously a sensitive subject, and it'll be interesting to see this because WWE, as we know, have not discussed Chris Benoit in the past 9 years. So it's nearly 10 years to the date since this happened, this incident that they call it, that WWE have never made notice of ever since they knew what was happening. And obviously WWE are probably a little bit worried about this, to be honest. In my opinion, WWE are going to be a little bit, not pessimistic about this whole thing. But obviously outside sources are making this, and we'll see how it goes. Honestly, I'm unsure on the movie, to be honest. I'm just gonna leave it unsure. I'm very, I may be unsure about the movie. I'm still, curious to check it out. And say if it comes out in cinemas worldwide and worldwide release, I will go and check it out because it does sound interesting. So just to recap, new Chris Benoit Crossface movie coming out, and who will play the lead, and also will it be good, will it be bad? Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be an interesting one to do. I'm actually not sure who's making the movie, to be honest, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, to be honest. Yeah, moving on. Bit depressing there, I should say. Our next topic, and it is UFC 203, and that is between CM Punk and Mickey Gall. Well, I'm going to call it the main event for all wrestling fans, as we know, on this main card. I'm going to cover all these main cards and just do predictions. I don't even know any of these matches, any of these wrestlers, but I'm just going to randomly predict these, see if I get any of them right. Stipe of Miocic versus Alistair Overeem. Jesus, 41 wins. So this guy's a freaking beast, to be honest. Yeah, Stipe Miocic, who's the champion. I think Alistair Overeem, the Reem, is going to beat Stipe Miocic. Because that's just my pick. And obviously, don't judge me. These are fake predictions, to be honest. Fabio Verdum is going to beat Travis Brown. The big card that I'm going to get to in a second. Faber beating Riviera, obviously. And interesting, this one's going to be the hardest one to predict, to be honest. I'm going to say Jessica Andrade from Brazil. Gotta love those Brazilians at MMA, beating Joanne Calderwood. Now the match that I wanted to talk about in the first place from the very beginning, CM Punk versus Mickey Gall. Now we know, let's go through the teletype here, because CM Punk is a USA nil record, no KOs, nothing like that, taking on Mickey Gall. Now the thing about this is, the thing I have to mention, have to tell you all, is that I was watching a documentary on this. It was called The Evolution of Punk. It was aired on YouTube, which you can go check it out. There's 4 episodes, and it was basically just showing us the training of CM Punk. He's been signed with UFC since January 2014, which is 2.5 years to the date. And yeah, he's just in that time he's been working really hard to get to this position he is now. And obviously, you gotta thank him for his work ethic and all that. But going into this fight, I have Mickey Gall winning this fight. Now, I'm gonna sound obviously going into this. I was seeing like, will CM Punk get to the point where he can win this match? And obviously, I was hopeful. My heart is obviously with CM Punk winning because I think we'll just do a outright great effort to him. I think will definitely boost his confidence. I'm obviously kind of a fellow CM Punk fan, so I would obviously love it. And obviously, I think for CM Punk, it would lead on to great things for him. Personally, though, if I had to just backlash from that for a second, pardon the pun, but I think it's too much of a stretch to say CM Punk will win this. I think he'll put on a challenge, but he won't get the job done against Mickey Gall. We all know Mickey Gall for having knockouts in under 1 minute. His both fights ended in under 1 minute, I should say. And, he is just a beast when it comes to these things. He's submission 100% of the time, so 2 fights, he's on submissions. CM Punk knows no bounds of ways, I bet you, to wrestle. He knows all these different things. But getting a submission is a different story. I know he'll try to fight that, but honestly, yeah, you're just not going to get around an actual trained professional. He's been going for Mickey Gall. He's young, yes. He's been probably training all his life since a young age, so he's got that ingrained in his body. He said it in the documentary that he has this sort of built into his muscle memory, while CM Punk has only been going at 2.5 years. Before that, he was wrestling, so he has a sort of cancelled muscle wrestling where he's basically been wrestling and now has to try and fix his style to fight a different story and fight a different style. Now, obviously, one of the interesting things about this fight is it's taking place in Cleveland, Ohio, and we all know that's where CM Punk officially left WWE, which is really cool and really interesting, to be honest. He, obviously left the Royal Rumble, I think. So, it would be a great victory for him and a wins for Vince McMahon if he actually does end up winning. And Mickey Gall, just him, I think he's going to win. I think the match will end in about a minute and a half. I'm going to say it's going to go a little bit longer. I think obviously CM Punk has a weight advantage here. I know it says 185, so obviously he's already at 200 in a moment and he has to bring down 10 pounds in a day or whatever, which is pretty crazy. But if he's at his position, I think the match will be a bit longer. I don't know. I'm kind of like hopeful for that. So I think it's going to go a minute 30, and I think in that second round, in the first round, I should say, it will be a first round submission, I'm going to say. Because obviously you can't say an amateur is going to be able to get out any type of submission from an MMA professional. There's also been rumours that he's been struggling in the sparring matches, and God, if you know anything about MMA, even if you're an outsider, if you're not doing well at sparring matches, I'm sorry, but you cannot fight. So there's an interesting thing, because obviously the phenomenon of bringing stars into other things based on their star power, like one example is Tim Tebow, who was a famous quarterback in football, retired, then went to baseball and has been signed. It's mostly about the name. CM Punk would never be at the position if he was just a run-of-the-mill wrestler who went to UFC. No, it wouldn't happen. He'd have to show himself, he'd have to pride himself and, do it and had to actually work his way up. But from here, I know CM Punk is saying this is a matter of, him inspiring others. But in fairness, if you're going to lose in the first round, you're not inspiring anybody. I don't care who you are. So, honestly, watch Brock Lesnar. He does a better job at it himself. So, I mean, if you want inspiration, check out Brock Lesnar. Minus the drugs, suspected drugs, I should say. But yeah, so CM Punk, you're going to lose, and it's going to be a first round submission, just like the other 2 fights. Yeah, I know, bit of a predictable kind of predictions for me. Hopefully, I'm guessing most people are saying the same thing. CM Punk, you're going to lose, and from then on, honestly, if I had to predict his future, this may be his last fight. He's late 30s, which is crazy to think. CM Punk is late 30s. He doesn't look it, but he's late 30s. If he's going to go again for UFC, I feel like it'd be a waste of his time and a waste of his efforts. He should direct his efforts towards other things like his comic book making or just acting in general. I think he'd be a pretty good actor. He's got the charisma for it. So, honestly, I don't care if you put in 3, 5 years. If you don't have that natural born instinct, you can't get it done. To be honest, you just it won't be you're not able for it. I'm sorry. I know a bit harsh, but anyways, that's it for me. There's my UFC 203 predictions. Yay! Moving on, WWE Backlash is this weekend on Sunday night. Backlash in your house. The new one from 2016, obviously, they've done this pay-per-view a lot of times. I love the name Backlash. It's a really cool name for a pay-per-view, to be honest. 6 matches announced. I think that they probably need to pad it out with another match. Probably a 7th match. Guessing Apollo Crews will compete. Or Kane. One of those two. I think Kane, they might just be like, oh, Kane will give you a match. Kane versus, just going to go out there, Zack Ryder, whatever. Why not? Pull double duty, Zack Ryder. Nah, I don't know. It's Kane versus Apollo Crews, we'll just say. So, getting into the main card here, we have The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler. The Miz defending his Intercontinental Championship in the first match. I think that The Miz will triumphantly win this one. Obviously, Dolph Ziggler is not a guy who's known to win. They kind of dropped the ball on Dolph Ziggler a little bit. He's kind of waning. He had the main card for a month, and now he's down here again. So, again, The Miz strongly retains. I don't know, they have this high about The Miz winning. So, they have a high about this guy. How long has this guy even held the title for? I don't know. But, yeah, that's going to be a big thing. Miz winning. I think there's no question about that. Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, another interesting match. I see Randy Orton winning this, no question, because Randy Orton, of course, made his big return after 9 months of absence. At SummerSlam, he lost in suspicious circumstances. There's going to be a lot of crowd support for him, and I think that Randy Orton needs to finish the job off, and it will be a great moment, and we'll all be happy about it, and yeah, it'll be cool to see. Our third match that I'm going to talk about here is Heath Slater and Rhino versus the winner of the other match, which we'll talk about here, the Usos versus the Hype Bros. Yeah, I'm going to say the Usos win. They're obviously a strong heel team, heel faction. They win, and yeah, they win. They're going to win, mate. I don't care what you're saying, they're going to win. Obviously, they're a very strong tag team. They're kind of upper echelon in terms of the tag teams. I say top 2 tag teams of all, are like biggest tag teams in WWE's estimations. I would say the American Alpha. I would say Enzo and Cass, and I would also say the New Day, and also say the Usos. They're up there. They really are. So they're obviously going to be given this finals position. Now, we know here, as you can see, that we're taking on Heath Slater and Rhino in the finals. And in my predictions, I'm going to say Heath Slater and Rhino to win this tag team championship, becoming the first ever tag team champions. Now, it's quite interesting for me to say that. And I know you're going to say that to me. If the American Alpha are not in it because of injury, from a kayfabe injury, where the match ended in 28 seconds. So, yeah, Usos is going to get so much heat from this, but I think Heath Slater and Rhino are going to get done. A bit of a controversial thing there, but honestly, I want to see Heath Slater and Rhino win. I think it'll be awesome when they do. They will. They will win. Trust me, they will win. Right, and that's a nice face victory, obviously, to blanket out the Miz and the Usos. Now, this match, the 6-pack elimination challenge. If you don't know what 6-pack elimination match is, I'll briefly explain what it is. So take a match, right? You take a match, and you have 2 wrestlers fighting in the ring. Once one pins the other, another wrestler comes in. Once one of those 2 wrestlers pins the other, another wrestler comes in, and it's basically singles competition until wrestlers keep coming in. I think I've seen this before. It's a weird type of matchup. It's a bit stupid because obviously the first person in is probably not going to last longest. But in my estimation, Nikki Bella is going to start at number 1, and she's going to make it to number 6, I think, or possibly Becky Lynch, one of the 2, and they will be the final 2 in the ring. Nikki Bella versus Becky Lynch. I think, to be directly honest with you guys, I'm going to go out there and say Becky Lynch will win this match. Yeah, Becky Lynch, wow. All these face victories, God. I think it'll be added up though. So, honestly, I think Becky Lynch will win this one. It's going to be great to see this, and I'm pretty happy about it. In our main event, Dean Ambrose versus AJ Styles, I'm going to say AJ Styles. I'm sticking with my guns. AJ Styles to beat Dean Ambrose and win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Unless there's some interruption, which I doubt it, but there probably will be if John Cena's there. To be honest, I don't think he will be. Possibly will be. but AJ Styles to win the title, and obviously, yeah, another title change here and there, which is kind of crazy, to be honest. 3 title wins. Okay, interesting. But anyways, that's it for the Backlash. It's gonna be an interesting show, and it's gonna be fun to see what happens. Obviously, let's get into our Premier League predictions for this weekend. I'm doing Fantasy League. If you want to follow me, you can I'll leave a link here. You can check me out on Fantasy League, and I'm pretty good at it. To be honest, I'm in league with my friend, and I'm obviously second because I'm not that good. I lied. And my favorite team is West Ham. Let's look at the fixtures for the upcoming week. Obviously, with Man United for taking on Man City. The Man United derby. I say Man United win 3-2. I'm not going to show the score. It's going to be really bad. But it's the main match. Yeah, 3-2. Bournemouth versus West Brom. I will say West Brom. Middlesbrough versus Crystal Palace. I'm going to say Crystal Palace. Hull City versus Burnley. I'll say Hull City. Stoke versus Tottenham. Tottenham, no question. West Ham versus Watford. I'm going to say West Ham. I think West Ham are home. To be honest, they're also my team. Yes, it's London Stadium. It is a home match. West Ham, get that win, boys. Obviously, we only have one win in the season, 2 losses, which, it's alright, but it's not great. But, yeah, hopefully we get that win. Then we have Arsenal versus Southampton. Arsenal. Liverpool versus Leicester. That's an interesting one. Liverpool are going to edge Leicester 2-1. Swansea versus Chelsea. Chelsea will win. Burnley versus Leicester. Actually, no, that's the next week. So, yeah, there are my match predictions. Also, Sunderland versus Everton. Quickly. Sunderland win. Am I looking at the wrong place? No, I think I'm looking at the right place. Sunderland win. Chelsea versus Liverpool. That's the next week. That's not this week. Anyways, yeah, there you go, guys. That's my Premier League predictions. Moving on. Paralympics is sort of my last story of the day. Big thing because talking about it here again. Oh yes. So the theme was about obviously no heart, no limit, or heart, no limit. Oh god, I've fricked it up here. The heart knows no limits. And there was a nice little Brazilian-y theme to it again from the Olympics. There were samba rhythms, which is kind of interesting. A Brazilian swimmer, Daniel Diaz, and also 2,000 have been sold a few weeks ago. That's a lot of tickets, but cool boys. But there's also sold 6. What? The goal is 2.4 million tickets. That's a lot. So obviously that's for the prices. And I think that's really interesting because the Paralympics is actually doing quite well at the moment. So good on them. I'm going to be watching it tonight, hopefully. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Sensational Jason Smith from Ireland got another gold medal, his 5th at the Olympics. Now this is crazy. He's known as the Usain Bolt of running in the Paralympics, which is interesting. He's the 100 meters for the semi-sided thing, and he's just really good. He's really good, and it's a photo finish here, must have been, and it was never really questioned. Obviously, he's a guy who's famous for doing. He did it in 10.64, and he delivered his 5th gold medal. And obviously, it was the morning event, which is kind of annoying, but yeah, you know the way they have like different classes of like disability and all. This is only one of them, so obviously it can never be as big as just 100 meters of the Olympics. But again, I think it's a really good achievement for Ireland, to be honest, and it leaves a good taste for him. This could be his last one. I don't know how old this guy is at the moment. I'm just gonna search his age. Jason Smith, but I saw him at the Olympics in London. He was very good, and again, he's very good. They took out the 2 meters for some reason, which is kind of weird. But yeah, we're just less with it. I just looked at Jaden Smith by an accident. I love Son Smith. Oh god, I hate myself. Hate myself for that. Actually, that's a funny joke because we talked about that in school. But yeah, Jason Smith. He is on Wikipedia. No, he's not. That's the actor. Oh, I can't find him. I actually can't find him. Okay, so yeah, he's really good. And he presented his medal at 3:58 Irish time today, so I kind of missed it. But anyways, so I'm very happy for the guy. Thank you guys for watching this episode. Obviously, well done to him. Ooh, Irish warrior dies after freak accident. I might talk about that in the future. I don't know. I'll talk about this in the videos. I want to keep it high and happy for the end of the video. But again, very, very happy for him. Obviously, pretty cool sports things coming up, so they're exciting to watch. And obviously, Chris Benoit.